In the great state of Montana, game wardens fight a daily battle. They fight to enforce state game laws and protect our natural resources.
Could be a good one.
Today on Wardens, we take a deeper look into the minds of Montana's game wardens. Join us as we sit down with Bryan Golie.
What are you doing out here knowing this is my turf? You know I'd catch you.
Jeff Darrah, Joe Kambic, and John Lasofsky.
Potentially one illegal outfitter in here.
You know what you did wrong? You're before shooting hours. There we go. You want to go to jail, Joe? Well, we're sitting here with John Lasofsky, Jeff Darrah, Bryan Golie, and Joe Kambic. And Jeff, you know, it's been 3 years we've had this Warden show, and it actually all started with you and I. I'd called you about it. What was your initial reaction when I came to you to ask you about doing this show?
Well, I think anybody in law enforcement's a little apprehensive when it comes to the press because sometimes things don't turn out the way they really happen, so you're nervous, and I didn't know if it would be a good thing or a bad thing. But at the time, we were kind of looking for ways to explain to the public what we did and how we did it.
Sure.
So what we're doing here is these are antlers that we took away from people last year that came in before the 15th and cheated. And we caught them, and I think we seized over 80 antlers. We've got 3 other trucks today. We split the antlers up, and Ben and I here today are gonna be depositing these in strategic locations for hopefully people to find tomorrow. Kind of an Easter egg hunt, I guess, Montana style.
But I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was something the public would like to see. I thought it might even be a good thing for Montana. This truly is a reality show. We don't fake it. This is just what happens out there every day.
Right.
Since we've been doing it, Bryan, what do you think it's done for the state of Montana and for game wardens?
Well, particularly for game wardens, I think there's a lot more awareness about what we do for a living. Individually, it's hard to tell your story. What is it that you do for a living and why? You tell that one person at a time. Talking about this show, people are able to get to know us in 3 or 4 episodes. Would have taken me 10 years to get people to understand what it is that we do. But in the communities that we live, you know, you get there in a district and you build this relationship, and it takes about 3 or 4 years. And then, you know, after 6, 7 years or 9 years or whatever it may be, pretty soon everybody does know you. And you can't get away from everything that you do. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, I've seen it. I've rode with you a lot, and we pull up on people, and they're like, "Hey, it's Bryan Golie."
Hey, Warden, it's Golie.
Yes, it is.
How's it going?
How are you guys?
Not too bad. Enjoying our
Did you
weekend.
survive the night?
We did.
We still got 2 more to go.
The creek's really cold, though. I tell you that.
And we lost TV. We lost her.
Hey, come have a beer. Shut the camera off.
Don't do anything to me. Don't steal my gun. Hey! Was that a guy?
That was
I'm trying to
really get arrested, and we're gonna let you go.
Oh, no.
I'll fall asleep in the crib. You gotta pick me up, though.
See?
Are you married?
He's looking for something.
Hell yeah!
Outdoor channel. Yes. We are actually on Warden. Wardens.
People do recognize me, and I know they recognize these guys too. And it's not really that big of a deal. It's kind of nice because they recognize you for the right reasons, because you hope you're presenting game wardens well on TV and you're given a fact-based show of what, in a reality show of what it's like to be. And so being recognized for that is good. And it's funny, people will take a little bit of time and they'll kind of stand around and then pretty soon they'll ask, "Hey, are you that guy?" And that's a great way because they may have never ever talked to you before, and it's a great way to talk about the show and what game wardens do. And it's fun to actually talk because it's very seldom is it ever negative.
And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of people that ask if I'm Bryan Golie.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a game warden? Well, today we're taking you behind the scenes.
What does it take to be a game warden?
You know, for me, starting out early on in my early years, game warden was somebody that would meet you in the field and you know, he would check your deer, do whatever, and he was kind of the modern day mountain man back then.
Self-starter is kind of the cliche that when they advertise for a position, they're looking for a self-starter. Well, what's a self-starter? You know, it's got a really big meaning to it, and it's the passion that the people have that are in this profession, whether they're in Montana or Florida or wherever. That passion runs deep.
It's 4:30 a.m. and Montana's game wardens are already up and working.
This isn't really even that early. It's 4:30. We slept in this morning. Kyle's here. Morning. Whoa. Are you sleepy? You're waking up. You're doing good.
What made you want to become a game warden?
You know, I think I've always deep down wanted to be a game warden. I love to be outside. I love, I have a passion for protecting the resource. It's important to me. It's important to all of us. I think that's why we do it.
Where'd you get the Christmas tree? Christmas trees clear up.
Back that way.
Okay.
So,
National Forest on the other side of the Spotted Dog.
Okay, so you got permits for them?
you have to get a permit for a Christmas tree?
Absolutely you do.
Nope.
Don't have one of them.
You just never know what's going to happen, and you have to be ready for anything at any time. And you know, we drive around in these offices, and at any second you leave that office, you could be rescuing somebody, you could be fighting some guy who's, a domestic dispute in a fishing access site, you could be backing up the local fire department on a fire, a car wreck. You just really never know. And as game wardens, the bigger, the more opportunity you have with people being out recreating, the more opportunity is going to be for tragedy, or opportunity just to contact people, or opportunity for, a percentage of people to break the law, whatever it may be.
Golie responds to a medical call in his rural district.
Do you think you need to go to the hospital?
Oh, I know I do.
Why didn't you stay there when you were there?
Because I'm going home first. I got an appointment Wednesday.
Well, what are we going to do with you right now? I mean, we can't let you go alone.
I'm going to get my truck and drive home and go. In the store.
Wow.
Now Warden Golie finds himself in a pickle.
You have my full permission to search that vehicle for contraband or anything else.
Okay, we're not worried about that.
I'm not a drug runner. I could be.
I guess
I could be carrying all kinds of marijuana.
Let's go find out what.
In episode 1 this year, we come out pretty strong, and I know all of you guys weren't involved in this, but we were in the WART training, and Joe, you were basically the first character to come on TV of the season, and you're dealing with a frantic lady. She's screaming. How did it feel to you, being part of that?
Well, that's a good actor there. The whole point of that training is to elevate everything, get your heart rate up, get you be able to think while things are a little tough. And she did really good, and of course, during that training, everybody gets their spot. Who's going to be tracking the bear? Who's going to be doing this? Who's going to be doing that? Well, who's going to take the crazy lady? Well, pick me, I guess. I'm the guy that gets to go deal with them.
Bears are unwelcome visitors in town, and wardens have a report that a wandering bear might have dragged away this woman's young daughter. Wardens gear up to find the girl and the bear.
That's right.
A 6-year-old girl named Rhoda was wearing a dress. Okay. She doesn't remember what color. Okay. And then it ran right in through here somewhere, according to what they said.
Right away, officers find themselves in dangerous territory. Thick woods make spotting a potentially dangerous bear almost impossible.
You know what? We want people in there. We're going to go in there and find that bear, okay? We're going to go in there and find the dog.
You talk to those folks that do that WART training, they'll tell you you're going to have to keep mom out of the scene, and that's probably the hardest thing to do in that whole situation.
Almost looks like something might have been drugged right up here.
Fishing game!
Just after lunchtime, wardens discover evidence of a potential victim.
I'd like to see if there's any blood on it.
There's possibly a drag trail up here where something might have been drugged.
Got some blood on the grass.
Well, it was a wildlife human attack response team is what the WART acronym is for. And this training was a big training. There were probably, 100 plus people there from all over the United States, really. And while I was there, we just so happened to have a grizzly bear call that day where an individual had shot a grizzly bear that was in his yard, and it limped off wounded.
If she's not hit, she'll come busting down that hill.
Okay.
And then once I get eyes on her, and then I can just herd her like a cat down the hill.
Oh, there she is.
So I got to miss a whole bunch of the training, I guess, so to speak, and went out and did the real field application of it with a few of the guys trying to track down this wounded grizzly. So I didn't get to see all this training. So I go down to Steve's to review this show, and I'm sitting there all intent to watch it. Here's Joe doing a great job trying to calm down this woman, and I'm the captain thinking, oh, what did I miss? I'm gonna go. And he had me hooked. I thought it was real. I mean, it was that good. You know, I thought, geez, what did I miss? I didn't hear about this, and it was the training.
Yeah. John, you know, how important is that training as a game warden?
It's critical. I mean, whether it's search and seizure or domestic stuff or whatever it is, I mean, I think that, you know, we train for SIMs, we train for our pistol qualifications, you name it. We meet twice a year, and our folks that do the training are actually trying to keep it fresh, keep something new for the things that we might encounter out in the field. And
it's really important. We don't rely or can't rely on a radio call to call some specialist down the street to come help us. And you know, these bigger cities and bigger departments, they have people that specialize in different aspects of law enforcement. Game wardens don't have the luxury. We have to be specialized in all aspects of law enforcement because you're by yourself all the time. I mean, one day you're driving a jet boat, the next day you're on a quad runner, you may be on a motorcycle, you could be on a horse, or you're in your truck, or you're hiking. And you may have a shotgun at a bear incident or a dart gun administering drugs at another incident. And
we've done all that,
We've
too.
done it all, and all the game wardens have. And anybody that's listening to this, whether doesn't matter what part of the country, and they understand what I'm talking about. You have to be good at all of it.
I know none of you guys have been involved in this particular show, but we always do the boat float. And this year it was just mass pandemonium. There was so much going on. And those boys in Region 5, I mean, they got their hands full there.
Yep.
You know, my hat's off to those guys too, because they got a tough job, you know, and there's a difference in a district, you know. They're running jet boats.
I had no idea when I saw that episode, and I just thought they were down checking fishermen, that type of deal. When that episode came on, I was standing in front of the TV going, holy crap, look what these guys are doing. And
They were saving lives.
They were saving lives, and I was impressed. I mean, it was pretty amazing to watch.
Region 5 wardens put their lives on the line at the 2012 Yellowstone boat float.
This could be a good one.
A whitewater section with Class 3 raft. Almost immediately, one boat goes over and wardens move in.
There's one. Well, we'll have to let them run out a little bit. Here's what we'll do. You guys got a jacket on? Let's go. Let's go if we're going. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. You're okay. Watch this boat going sideways.
This is a dangerous job. Officers must try and maneuver the rescue boat in fast water, and they have to get close enough to rescue stranded swimmers.
Give me your hand. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. There's a free raft right there.
That's okay. We'll let it go. We'll let it go. Let it go, Randy.
Get up there! Oh!
This is total mayhem, Randy. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Suddenly, one man struggles to keep his head above water. Wardens need to get to him before he goes under. The subject's car has been spotted and officers spring into action. Deputies are going to make a traffic stop as wardens close in to make the arrest.
So, John, what was probably the most dangerous thing that you've ever done as a game warden?
Oh man, probably some of the takedowns that we've done. I mean, and we've had, maybe 6 in my career that have been fairly high profile. But that would be the biggest ones, some out of Missoula in your area there. But when we get into the takedown situations where we're going in to actually do or put a search warrant through, and you're on an entry team or something of that nature, that you're going through a door
and you don't know what you're going to run
not
into.
Not knowing what's on the other side, yeah, it'll pull the hair up on your neck.
Sure. Speaking of that, we did a takedown show where you made an arrest on a guy. It was started by you. And it went into an undercover case. It took several years,
right.
and we made that into a show. And just this year, we finally got to go into courts with him and actually see what happened from that case.
These are the worst of the worst as far as wildlife crimes are concerned. They stole opportunities away from the public of Montana. The number of deer they killed, the number of elk they killed, stole those opportunities away from some young kid or some family.
What is your plea then? To count 1, hunting with an artificial right. Count 2, hunting without landowner permission. Count 3, hunting with an artificial right. Count 4, hunting from a public highway. Count 5, hunting without a valid license. Count 6, hunting with an artificial right. Count 10, unlawful possession of a game animal. And count 11, unlawful sale of a game animal, which is amended to a misdemeanor, unlawful sale. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And what's your plea then?
From your standpoint, how did that make you feel to actually sit in the courtroom and watch them getting sentenced?
Well, that's a hard, being a game warden, actually, sometimes I think catching them is the easy part, and getting them all the way through the court system is the tough part. But to see that is really good, because you actually saw, you started something and you finished it, and the public gets to see that you finished it as well, and that these people are going to be held accountable for the things that they've done. And why is it so important is because you're the reason that they're held accountable. And to see that all happen is really important.
So the total restitution is $11,157.60. The fines are all suspended, and his hunting and fishing and trapping privileges are forfeited for life. His firearms are forfeited, and he has to remain law-abiding, and then there are all the other conditions of the plea. Any questions?
No.
What was it like getting a call at 2 o'clock in the morning? You're married, and all of a sudden you got a 2 o'clock in the morning call.
Right, right. Well, as game wardens, the wardens' districts are very large in size. Our average district size is 2,000 square miles, and you're the guardian of the wildlife in that area. So you don't know what you're getting into. You just got vague report that shots fired, spotlight being worked, and there's a high chance that you're going to run into somebody that's been drinking alcohol, and they're violating the law, and you're the only one going out there to see what's going on.
Speaking of that, Joe, we did a patrol this year, kind of a late night patrol, and we brought in a bunch of wardens into your region. We did a saturation, we put up some decoys, and we saw what we felt could be somebody that might do just that.
Well, as a game warden, you spend all that time outside, and you're waiting for something to happen, and sometimes it doesn't happen. When you see that car, you can look at it and you know that's the one. Yeah. That's the slow roll. That's the classic slow roll. They're just looking for something to kill. And you know, it was a perfect night for it that night. No wind, it was clear, it wasn't too cold. Those folks out there, we knew what they were up to. And we knew we had to get something in front of them. And I thought that they might have some real animals out in front of them when they went up. And luckily they didn't, because we were still able to catch them and we didn't have to sacrifice a real animal. But we made a move and it worked out for us.
Hey, you know, let's just go take a look at it real quick. It was kind of, a fast deal. I jumped in the ditch with a camera. You backed up in your truck, and Dan Curtin was there. We had all kinds of guys there. It was really neat, so let's go take a look at it real quick.
The team sets up and wires their decoy in complete darkness.
This is good. This is good stuff, Terry. They're on the road. We came up, and there's no reason for them to go up this way.
Yeah, 10-4, they were just stopped there for a little bit.
It appears that they're probably up to no good.
Seconds later, the team spots the truck.
Stop your truck! Okay,
On foot, the Wardens can't stop the driver. He races away, not knowing a second security team has him pegged.
Let's see your hands. Get your hands up. Get them up.
Welcome back to the Wardens Roundtable. We're talking with Montana Game Wardens, getting behind-the-scenes insight into their daily lives.
John, we did something that we really never did before, and we actually went on a horse patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a reason for that patrol, and because there's been problems in that area.
Right.
And I noticed in the very beginning, you loaded up a shotgun.
Yeah. This is for protection, actually. I've been up here before, and it's just nice to have a long gun.
The Wardens had received a tip that they could discover a few hunters who do not want to see the law.
You know, the original reason that we went into that, into the crazies up there is last year we had a Forest Service LEO that had actually an armed confrontation with a gentleman. And it was somebody that I dealt with a couple years before that, in fact, had a case with them, and I got word that he was back. You know, so when we started into that deal, we kind of knew that there was a potential when we were riding in there, we were going to come head on with this guy.
And we did. He was actually the first person we came in contact with that day. You know, that's got to be an elevated feeling. You know, we rode away from that guy. Kind of what was going on in your mind?
Truthfully, you know, when we rode away, and the contact was good. He had a guy with him, of course, that had a bird license at 8,000 feet, you know, wasn't elk hunting, and he had the right to be there, so we treated him as a regular contact. But when I crawled back on that horse, we had about 400 yards of open country to go by, and I had my back to him the whole time riding out of there, and I thought, if he wants me, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nothing. I kept looking over my shoulder, but it was uncomfortable, let's just put it that way.
As a game warden, you guys got to really pay attention and be on your game. We ran into a guy on the trail. He told us one story. We run into a guy with another out down. We get to the camp. We don't know they're all associated at that point.
Right.
But we heard these same stories. We went and had lunch. We come back, and now all of a sudden, what happens? We
bail into it. In fact, you know, we went and had lunch, and I think everybody that left when we made the first contact into that camp, everybody knew something was wrong. I mean, we left there going, what'd we miss? So we built a fire, had a sandwich, and talked about it, and decided to go have another talk. And by the time we got back down the second go around, they knew we were coming back, and things started coming apart for them.
It's not like it's a guy that does it for a living.
No, it's not an outfitter. No, it's not like an outfitter, nothing like that. So does he have to be permitted then? Are we doing something illegal there?
He would have to be permitted.
He would have to be permitted.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, I have legitimate outfitters up here.
Okay.
Warden Lasofsky discovers the man who hauled in these hunters is operating illegally without an outfitter license. That's the first problem solved.
This is now I kind of come back and ask a couple questions about it.
Well, I just, after we got done chatting, I thought I'd talk to you down below, and first I thought we talked about 2 elk and then possibly a third. When I chatted with you down Lodgepole.
The hunters appear a bit nervous as the wardens question them about the number of elk they've harvested. Their story just doesn't add up.
So do you have your license on you? That's one thing I didn't do was check you.
He said the same thing. He said something about...
Did I check you? Can I check you?
Check license.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
This hunter hands the warden a validated elk tag. It should be attached to the harvested animal.
What did you, is this just your conservation? Do you have, did you get an elk or did you get, where's the rest of it? And then where's your elk?
A little bit of snow.
In the corner here.
Around the corner? Why don't you show me your elk?
It appears these hunters aren't telling the wardens the truth. Now they have a problem. Up on Montana's crazy mountain range, state game wardens try and get the truth out of a group of suspicious elk hunters.
And then where's your elk?
A little bit of snow.
In the corner here.
Around the corner? Mm-hmm. Why don't you show me your elk?
Warden John Lasofsky suspects these men lied about how many animals they'd harvested. A hunter finally admits to a third kill out behind camp.
Is that why you've got the horns hid?
Because he wasn't.
That wasn't up here yet.
Yeah, he wasn't up here or whatever, you know, this type thing.
Okay. Is that why you're awful quiet?
There's telltale signs when you see these things, and every one of us, we've seen them, and it's not rocket scientists sometimes to figure these things out. And that particular case, one guy, John sat down and this guy's back just, whoop, he turned around and he was away from him. You know, and I know there's things you've told me that how you pick up on these things, you know?
Yeah, you bet. It's you know, there's some training that you can take for that, but a lot of it is just from experience, you know. And that show with John was really good because I haven't had the privilege to work with John a lot, and I'm watching him, and I'm kind of going, John, check over there, you know, look behind the tent, you know. But he had it, you know. He was his wheels were spinning, and he had it. So. It is, you know, whether you just watch a guy's body language or how he says things, you watch all that. And
sometimes you can tell just by the tone of their voice.
Absolutely, or they won't look at you. Yeah. They'll look down or they'll look away. Right. You know? No, I don't know anything about that.
Speaking of that, yeah. Brian, we had a really fun one too this summer. We were checking some fishermen late in the evening. Instantly, you knew he was lying. And sometimes if they just tell you the truth, it's not that big a deal. And that particular day, the license system was down.
That's correct.
And this guy was just going on and on and on.
What's in here? Okay. You don't have any guns or anything in there?
No.
Okay. But you don't have any fish or anything in there? Okay. So you went fishing today, right?
Earlier today, yeah, but it was like...
Okay, have you handled any fish today?
There's fish.
The more the warden questions the man, the more his story doesn't add up.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I'm a really fair guy.
Okay.
Until you start lying.
Okay.
Don't lie to me.
Okay.
Just don't do it. Here's what I want to know. When I'm driving down the road, are you sure you didn't grab your pack and run up on the hill?
Grab my pack and run up on the hill?
Yeah. When you repeat something, you know what that means to me?
Yeah.
It means you're lying. Okay, I asked you a question, and I'm getting tired of you lying.
Okay.
I asked you to be honest, and I told you if you're honest that I was going to be a gentleman with you. When I'm driving down the road, did you take off up the hill?
No, I was walking up and down the road because I couldn't really fish.
Okay, I know you weren't doing that because I've been up and down the road all afternoon, and I have not seen you at all.
Okay, I must have been down on the bank or something.
Okay, we weren't with you.
Okay.
We would be guessing where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You should know where you are. Where were you?
When you run into that, what goes on in your mind? You know, you're thinking to yourself, why won't this guy give it up?
That's really important. It's why would an average member of the public lie to a law enforcement officer? And there is a percentage of people that will do that, and those are the percentage of people that we pay attention to. And there's no reason for him to lie. And if he's lying, he's hiding something. And in this case, his friends, not only pressured him into going fishing, but they also lied for him, which made it even, harder to figure out. The guy was just embarrassed. He'd had a tough week. He did everything in his power to get a license, and I believe him. And that's why, we gave him a break in the end. But I went through that process to make sure that he would know that the next time he tried that, he would get taken all the way to the carpet on it. Yes. And people say, well, you were a little harsh. Well, trying to break a person out of a lying, or trying to get them to come back to reality, sometimes you have to be a little bit blunt. And I don't get paid to be his friend. I get paid to protect a resource, and I hope I make friends along the way. But to break him out of his lie and to make sure that he knew absolutely that I didn't believe him, in order to move on from that contact, that's something that had to be done. How many poles do you have?
I have 3.
Okay, why are they all laying right here?
Because I couldn't fish, and I just threw them up here.
Okay. Jesus, Randy. I mean, okay, so you got a fresh worm on there. Okay, and you got a lure on there. So did you have one in the water and using the other one at the same time?
No, never more than one pole at one time.
No, I want to know where your fish are too.
Okay, there are no fish.
When are you going to tell me that you got scared and threw these up here because you saw me and you didn't want to get in trouble? Because we're not done until you do that. Because I need to know if you're an honorable individual that's going to tell me the truth.
Okay, whatever. I threw them up there a while ago. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was just recently a while ago.
Okay, is it because you saw me, the game warden?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. When you have to ask somebody every particular question to get them to answer, something's wrong. Yeah. We, as game wardens, don't write a guy a ticket for blowing a stop sign or catch him speeding. We usually, when the crime is over, we have to work backwards from that crime. Sure. And that's where I think if somebody said, well, what's the difference between a game warden and a police officer? Well, we really start at a crime and work back to a suspect.
Right, if you're not there and you're trying to piece everything together, that's how you have to do it. And like Bryan said, if they lie to you, you got to go through the process, the whole thing. You got to know the questions to ask, when to ask them. Just keep going. You got to put it all together. It's a puzzle. You got to ask those questions, and that's why he did it. I mean, did you really find it odd that his fishing rods were on the other side of the road, halfway up the mountain? I mean,
definitely not normal behavior.
Fish don't live up there. So, I mean,
and he never.
I'm not even a biologist. I can tell you that fish are not going to be on that side of the road.
We're going to check some fishermen. You guys catching any?
Right away, Warden Bill Copen spots a boat and instantly finds a problem.
I'll just come around if you can get your licenses out.
I got mine in the truck.
That's not a good spot for it.
Yeah.
How about you? You're looking kind of paralyzed.
Oh, me?
Do you have yours?
Of course I got
You don't, do you?
Bill he's a crazy one. He's fun. He's very good at his job.
We all have nicknames.
But poor Bill, he pulls up on his boat and he says, ask him about fishing licenses.
Right, I saw that.
3 out of 4 people don't have a license. You guys need to figure this out.
Bill, he could read that instantly.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he say, you look a little paralyzed?
Yeah. And what he meant by that was, you don't have a license. And I think if you watch that episode, which I'm sure you haven't, he just called it out. He says, you don't have a license, do you? And, they had that deer in the headlight look like, what do I say? I don't want to give up the ghost that easy or that quick. But Bill is a veteran warden, and I've been his captain for several years. And that was cool to watch because he was polite, he was jovial. And when he left, I think they were going to buy him a chicken dinner.
Exactly.
Winner, chicken dinner.
It's a $135 bond.
Oh, there's no way I'm going to pay.
You don't have to. You're going to court, you said.
Oh, yeah.
I put down I did not receive it.
Residence.
Now, if you guys Oh man, now see what you made me do? I didn't even put my hardcover under that, and now that one's gonna have your name on it. You gotta have 2 now. I have to give you 2.
Yeah. Hey, I think I seen this guy when we ate at that place in Steve, remember?
Oh, at the coop? The chicken coop!
Oh, that's what I'm wondering, where did I see him?
How come you guys didn't offer to buy my chicken?
I know people.
Okay, another question for you, sir. Where's the fish at? Where are they biting?
Oh, well, you gotta go get a license before you check that out, buddy. Up there by the weeds. If you hit those weeds with those crankbaits you had, be in the deep water, hit right at the edge and reel out. They'll come out. You're from Minnesota, man. I shouldn't have to tell you that.
I mean, I just don't know this pond, you know.
This pond? Now, come on. You're offending me calling this a pond.
That's a lake.
It's a lake. You're in Montana now, buddy. All right, you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
No.
Thank you for what? Are you kidding me?
Don't thank me.
He's doing his job.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Harvest for a
Yeah,
half an hour.
Nikolai, you gotta listen to them a little. That's what you need. Just doing my job.
If I see you drop by, I'm even gonna wait.
You're not gonna buy my chicken at the coop?
I might.
All right.
Bill, who's gonna buy you?
No, I said Nikolai is.
I might.
That's too much fun.
You know you have it figured out in your district when you got people buying your dinner. Yeah.
Well, that's important you bring that up. If you get the bad guys and you treat them right, down the road, that's going to come back to help you out.
Yeah.
And I mean, you might walk into a restaurant and sit down with your wife and get in the Donnybrook and then have a guy come in and save your butt that you had written a ticket to, but you treat him like a gentleman and you treat him professional. And unfortunately in this job, at times, you guys brought it up, is that you actually have to tell people they're lying. And that's not the society way of doing things. You're stepping outside of that. And you have to be careful because you can make people really upset, but at the same time, it's really the only way to get to the bottom of what's going on. And you try to do it professional and hope that you can leave with a handshake.
Sure. And that's one thing that almost every time you guys write a ticket, there's always a thank you from them. They're thanking you for giving them a ticket, and there's a handshake.
Easy now. Okay, so you're gonna take care of that, and it wasn't too bad. We worked that out.
Yeah, thanks for taking it easy on me.
Not a problem.
My favorite part of the day was probably when I I think probably the 3rd shot.
When she was dead?
When she dropped and hit the dirt, that's the best part of the day.
Yep.
John, what do you think is the most rewarding part of being a game warden?
I think it's when when you're out in the field and you finally meet that hunting camp that's got a couple of kids in it, the 12-year-old, the 14-year-old, and you reflect back a little bit and think, geez, I was there not too many years ago, and you actually have the ability to have a positive influence on, that particular situation and maybe pick them out of the crowd versus checking a license. You pick them out and have a conversation and maybe try to leave an impression. When they're all done, they felt like they got to, be part of the bigger deal.
Yeah.
Well, the morning started off pretty slow, but things picked up. We drove by here and saw a lot of action, and we ended up getting this one. Yeah, pretty exciting, real exciting.
To see these kids or to see some 80-year-old guy on his last elk hunt or whatever it may be, to be successful, that's more important than catching a bad guy. I mean, for us, we get a lot more out of that.
Sure.
But we'll catch the bad guy to make sure that will continue down the road.
That was the last.
Well, I hit her here and then I went right through there. And the second shot, we had come down to get away so she wouldn't see us. And then she kind of got up. Of course, all the guts were hanging out the bottom of her, but she got up and started moving. I just shot, I missed. But
Yeah, it's not a miss, it's a warning shot.
Yeah, that's right.
what was that, a warning shot?
Yeah, something's happening. What is that?
Me and my dad sighted this gun in. We do all our own hand loading for it. This is a Savage Model 11 and 308 Winchester. It was used to kill my antelope. It's been a good gun. Well, I would say, if you decide not to shoot, it's always a fun hike and it's always beautiful and it's always nice out here in Montana.
We get to see when things happen, how bad it can be and how good it can be. But if this job wasn't personal in some respect, we probably wouldn't be that good at it.
And how important is the landowner relationship
critical. And and you talk about a district that's a standalone district, and you're the only guy that is kind of the face of the department when you're out here, and how you treat your landowners is absolutely critical. There wasn't anything that you can get done enforcement-wise without their help. I mean, if you come into a district and you don't take that into consideration, you're not going to go very far. It's 70% of Montana is privately owned, and you better figure that out in a big hurry.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah, it's key. I mean, being a game warden, you need to have those relationships, whether it be for, they're telling you, who the bad guys are, who what they're doing, or whether, let's face it, they, a lot of them, they raise a lot of the wildlife, and we're that conduit between the sportsman and the landowner. And sometimes those two groups butt heads, and you got to make sure that you're doing your best as the game warden in your district to try to bridge that gap.
So we got some hunters that shot a deer where they had permission. That deer eventually got over onto you, and they actually drug it out across part of your property. They hadn't contacted you. Something like this, the law says you have to have permission to hunt. That includes retrieval or crossing private land to hunt. But it's kind of up to you, whether you want a ticket wrote or what you want me to do with this.
I wish they would have contacted me and asked me about four-wheelers and stuff like that.
Sure.
More than likely, it's probably just an honest mistake on their part. But I wouldn't mind shaking the tree pretty hard with those guys so they don't cross over or tell their buddies to come in here and push the boundaries.
Well, I'll go back. There's one guy in the group I haven't checked yet. Look at his license, and we'll visit about the kill site and stuff, verify that this is their kill site, which I think it is. All right, Rick, I'll talk to these guys. You didn't want me to cite them is what I gathered, so take care.
People probably think it's tax dollars that fund a game warden, and it really isn't that. What funds FWP?
I think that's a great American story in the fact that there are a lot of people out there that want to preserve or protect nature, and the real story is sportsmen of the United States of America have saved wildlife because it's their purchasing of licensed dollars, whether it's to hunt or fish. And for game wardens, in most states, it's not that we're government employees and their tax dollars pay for us to go out and do all these things. It's the hunting and fishing public that pays for us to be out there. They're paying for us to be out there to monitor them and to protect their wildlife. So every time somebody buys a license, it helps pay for us.
Just because we got that patch on the arm and that star on our chest doesn't mean we don't pull our pants up the same way as they do every day.
That's right.
Big thing for me is when I focus when I get done with work is my wife and my kids and my grandkids. I mean, that's my focus. And without them, you don't have anything. And they do put up with an awful lot.
That's the big thing.
We're very specialized in what we do. People don't understand it, and there's kind of there's a fence between us. Until people climb over that fence or we jump over and grab them and talk to them, there's always going to be that. But this show has broke down that barrier and helped out a lot. And people will come up to us, and I think that they need to keep doing that. Come up to us, talk to us, work things out, talk to us about anything that you want, because we get paid for it, and we enjoy that part of it.
It's been a really fun deal working with all these game wardens. We want to thank every one of you again, and especially our viewers, because without the viewers, we wouldn't have the show. So we want to thank you as a viewer, and we'll see you all next year.